So many of us say we want to be free, and I believe that we have to define what freedom truly is so we can break it down and then work towards it. So, hello and welcome back to another episode of Healing into Holiness. My name is Joana Fatondji. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about me, honestly, but also you. My way of teaching and imparting spiritual knowledge and wisdom and things that I've overcome is truly through storytelling. So please remember that every time I tell a story, it's not only to talk about myself, but it's also for you to relate and see a person that is actually going through it or that has been going through it. I want to say a little bit more about that because I see myself in the collective of spiritual teachers, of healers, of tarot readers, even oracles, whatever medium or whatever people call themselves in the field of inspiration, right? Inspiration and hope and giving life through whatever channel they use. And my channel is truly speaking about my own stories and weaving in the wisdom, weaving in the teachings and the learnings. I have realized that that's the best way for me to do it. And also, I'm going to continue to evolve. I have a lot of teachings I can share also in different ways, and I will, but I just wanted to say that as well. So, welcome. If you found me, this is not a coincidence. I truly believe that. Right? Many people say that, but it's true. I mean, the internet is so vast, the algorithm is so big, and I truly believe that we are meant to find the people that we are looking for or that we want to learn from, that we want to be in community with, and that it's not a coincidence. So, yeah, with that being said, let's dive into the topic of freedom. I will be speaking about freedom, and I will also be speaking about systems because, again, how I started breaking down my life, I was like, as I said before, I am called. I always knew that I had a spiritual calling on my life, that I had a spiritual gift of being clairvoyant or like clair, how do you call like this really feeling? I'm an empath. I feel things. I'm a Cancer. Welcome to Cancer season. I'm a Cancer. I feel things. It's like, yeah, it's like a sonar radar. Like I send out my energy and I pick up what comes back. So I've always felt people that are not honest, that are not truthful, that are full of bullshit, basically. And I've seen those things in my family, in basically all of my family, to be honest. And I have been picking up on insincerity for all my life in every situation that I go. So that's how I navigate myself through situations. And at the same time, I have the gift of speech. I have the gift of communication. And I have been when I finished my university, so I've also been a cycle breaker. My purpose in this life is not only teaching, but my true or underlying purpose has been to continue to break generational cycles. And I always like to mention that I have a white bloodline and I have a black bloodline. My mom is German and my dad is Ghanaian. And I feel and I had to break both bloodlines, like both curses, both negative patterns on both sides of my bloodline. And I think that is a heavy task. And I feel like I am at the end. I have done it and now I'm coming out. So this is what this YouTube channel is about. Me really speaking from experience, as I said, because I feel like in the scene, in this whole, as I said, like tarot cards and prophetic speaker scene, there's a lot of teaching. There's a lot of teaching, and that's fine. But I am missing a little bit of the personal stories, and I understand why people are not sharing all of that because it's very vulnerable. But for me, that is the most easiest way to do it. So again, let's talk about systems. As I said, I've been called. I was a generational cycle breaker. I was the first in my family who studied. I went to university. I studied international business. I graduated. I had a corporate job in international finance. And right after I've been there for a year, when the year was over, I knew that I had finished something, maybe even also the like clearing the bloodline or elevating the bloodline to higher education and the corporate world, like being in the white collar world instead of like working class. So I broke that already, and I knew something liberated me to go higher. And I knew from that standpoint on, I wanted to go even higher and explore a higher calling, my truer calling. And I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I was meant for global impact. I knew that I was meant to be a spiritual teacher. I knew it. I knew that I could give something back to the community. So I have done many things along the way, but a little bit fast forward, I have found my spiritual school, and I learned with a teacher or with her whole institution, which was like high level, Harvard level teachers, world teachers, probably all in all together, they're probably billionaires. It's a family of millionaires. It's a woman, and then she has four of her kids, and then like almost the whole family is involved in this business. So very, very legacy heavy, spiritual legacy, a spiritual business legacy. Very impressive. Until this day, I think I made the right choice even back then. But what I want to say here is that what I learned, like the first module of what I learned, was to create the vision, the life of your dreams, right? To really create the vision and to create a blueprint of your life. And then when you have like your health, your relationships, your career, your purpose, your path, and your time and money freedom, the next thing is to create systems around it. You've probably heard that, but it's really about systems. And I believe that that's the answer if we speak about, I have such a big calling. I have this huge calling. I know that I'm meant to, as I said, create global impact, be like a huge leader or whatever. It also begins, or it also, the foundation of it is to create everyday systems and routines, right? A system, we will speak about that, but a system starts with you planning your day from when you wake up to what components you put into your day. Health, right? How are you serving your health during the day? How are you serving your relationships during the day? How are you serving your purpose and your business that day? And how are you serving your money that day? Right? That alone is a system. So I always like to break down the big words that I used, like very hype, or maybe even like in a context when you just think about that word in that context, even though it can be applied to everything. That's really what I'm about: universally applicable truth and words and knowledge. Okay, so again, it's about systems. So if you feel like you have this big vision, you have this big goal, whether it is your body, whether it is your relationships, whether it is your whatever it is in your life, break it down into a structure, into a system. And all these four quadrants help to systematize. And I'm all about that. I would 100% know that this channel is going to evolve to be all about like frameworks and systems and depicting how I think, because I always put things in frameworks because it helps me to see things, to understand things, to visualize things. And from the visualization, we can actually really build what it is that we truly want. Okay? Good. So we want to build the system, as I said, for the time, money, and location freedom. Okay, time, money, and location freedom. This is for me something that I'm now really crystallizing with my work in the world, with my career, with my mission, with my, yeah, with my purpose in being a teacher, a coach, a wisdom keeper. So if you are also like, I will start with the big picture and then we will go down and narrow down to actually your purpose and why I believe, because this channel is not only about spiritual knowledge but also tying this in with creating a business, because that is what it's all about. This is, and I'm sure, like I always speak about the context, because I see myself now as the digital preacher community, the digital entrepreneurship community, the content creator, but it's really more, I really see myself as a spiritual teacher, or a spiritual teacher that is here to help women to build their own businesses, okay? So with that being said, I believe that creating an online course or an online course academy is really not insignificant. Like this can be the ultimate path to real freedom and global impact, right? That holds like this business, this academy, this online course, or this online academy, or even claiming the platform, right? Claiming YouTube and saying, okay, I am going to commit to build my brand, my story, my business, my community on YouTube. That is claiming the platform and seeing it as my digital home. And I invite you to do the same if that's what you want, right? And then being able to truly build, right? Build like brick by brick, video by video, is building your world, building your city, building your empire, infused with your spirit, with your story, with your style, with your signal, with your values, with your unique expression. Right? That's how I see it now, bit by bit by bit. And why I'm saying that as well is because I'm speaking to myself and I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to my younger self because, as I said, I'm now 36 and I have been like, I had this vision all my life. And then the past 10 years, especially already being a certified life coach, I already knew that there was a path. But the next 10 years, I had to do the true inner work. Oh my goodness. Like this is when really the bottom came up, when I had to clear all of my ancestral patterns and my own insecurities and my shadows and whatever it is that you believe in, my karma, my south node, or yeah, everything that limited me, my mind, and the spiritual warfare and everything, the chatter that is going on, the inner child healing, everything. I had to purge that, right, through many painful situations. Oh god. But I'm sure you can relate. So I'm advocating for building an online platform and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your story online, because this is now the storage, but it's open for the people who are looking for it to find it, right? And this is how you do your spiritual mission, how you plant the seeds, how you create abundance by multiplying your story, right? I definitely see this as speaking to somebody that I truly love when I'm speaking to you, right? Somebody that I'm truly loving, my child, my younger sister. And then hopefully that she's going to carry it into her life. And hopefully she's going to ripple it out. That's how I think. That's truly how I think. So it's really about creating a system. If you want to speak business talk, creating a marketing system, because one thing also that I learned about marketing is storytelling. Marketing is supposed to tell a story that invokes a feeling about whether it is family or belonging, right? Either it's family and feeling good around the house or in your body, home. It's all about evoking feelings because everything happens inside, right? Everything happens inside. That's also a spiritual, neurological, chemical truth. It's I associate that also with Dr. Joe Dispenza, with like everything is literally inside the body. It's a chemical reaction. But this is also what marketing is and storytelling is supposed to do, right? They show you pictures of families that are happy, having a happy meal, having a drink, right? Then whether it is a non-alcoholic or an alcoholic drink, or maybe you're in a bar on a cowboy or on a horse or on a motorbike or all of the beauty things and all of that is creating images in your mind so you can project yourself into the person and be like, yeah, that's who I am too. I associate with that. I'm a person that loves freedom, the outdoors, or maybe you're somebody who is family and culture and religiously oriented, and then this evokes something in you, or you think you're this beautiful woman and now you're buying these products because yeah, that's me too, like I'm hip and I'm cool and I'm stylish. Oh yeah, I'm a woman of the world, or whatever you might think. That is how marketing works, right? So you want to also portray a lifestyle, right? And for me, to be honest, I'm thinking about that. If you want, you can go check out my Instagram, and you can also go check out my, like, I have two Instagram, one personal and one for the business. So you can go and check that out. And when you see, and even my thumbnails, right? My thumbnails show me in the outside world, like when I go out, having photo shootings and living the life that I love living outside, right? Going to events, going to network events, traveling, right? But also, yeah, photo shootings, all of the symbols that I want to project. Also, many times it's capturing, literally capturing a moment in time, like art, right? I also see myself as an artist. I believe if you're a spiritual, it's everything. You're a spiritual, my art is my voice, my whole presentation is my art. It's all intentional. It's all intentional. So when I have a photo shooting, it's like capturing the moment. It's like a self portrait and capturing maybe something that I've been through, something that I want to embody. So I have a photo shooting. I'm going to create more thumbnails with that, where I was like more in my dark feminine, like really harsh dark glasses. And that is an aspect of me because I had to cultivate her, and this was like literally like the last embodiment of me. Now I feel like I'm in an integrated space, and I'm still integrating and still cultivating duality. If I need to fuck somebody up, I will do it, right? But I am coming from a pure heart. Okay. So, with that being said, this is social media as well. You're creating a marketing system. I don't like to hide those things, right? I don't like to say, hey, I'm just here. I like to teach, right? Because why not? It's still going to work, right? So creating a marketing system is how you're going to create content, right? Some people let themselves be seen in all these different in their world, right? At work, with their family, or traveling, or whatever they want to portray. My way is to do it at home and to be in a very intimate conversation with you, because this is how I would also have this kind of conversation in a very intimate, cozy, homely setting, but very deep, very spiritual, very intellectual, and still teaching. So yeah, I found all of that out through doing exactly the work that I teach you when you sign up for my original method. The original method is basically my framework of how I became who I am today, right? In a very lean way, like who you are, understanding the world that we live in, I think is very, very important. Then how to see social media as your market space. I always also, that's also an analogy that I really like, is literally, this is for me, this is as I'm a teacher and a coach and a strategist, advisor. That's my style. But this is literally my market stand. Imagine like the world, and that's what social media is too, right? And also YouTube. YouTube is a search engine, yeah. But that's what YouTube is. It's a marketplace, and this is my market store, right? This is where you come to the back. And yeah, I don't want to continue. I don't want to call myself a fortune teller, but you get it. A little, it's a little magical and definitely intimate. Okay, so that is the marketing I'm still speaking about. If you want to be free, create systems, right, that support you. And I always also like to see like the spiritual part of you is the core. It's the core center, the central channel. Then you have the emotional body, then you have the mental body, right? You have your mind, you have your emotions, you have your spirit, then you have your physical body, and then you have the body of your purpose. That's how I call it. That's the body of your business, or of your offering to the world. And then you have to promote it, right? You have to invite people to come in deeper, to be transformed by your product or by your service. But that's it, right? From the inside out. So your core, and then your business walls, and then your marketing, everything you want to create brick by brick by brick by brick. You understand? Okay, I hope that makes sense. So create sales system. Marketing and sales is most of the time is one, especially today. It's about storytelling, right? Storytelling is both, is marketing and sales. If you have very good storytelling through images, through pictures, through emotions, through creating a brand that is associated with a certain lifestyle, that is what makes people buy already. I'm also thinking about Patagonia, right? I'm thinking about Patagonia, for example. Maybe you know that brand or not. Mm, but it's about people going out, and like it's outdoorsy, traveling, hiking, like really the like we're outdoorsy people. We're traveling to another country to hike in very a little bit dangerous spaces, very earthy, right? Like it projects this image of that kind of person that buys the brand, right? And with every brand, that's what it is. You tell a story. With Chanel, with Dior, and also all of that, like you see the pictures, we know that, right? And that's the same thing that people do here on social media. You project an image, and then if people like it and they resonate with it, they will come closer. What I intend to project is deep intimacy, is heartfelt communication, but also deep truth and deep wisdom that I have been traveling the world for. Literally, I have been traveling the world like an explorer, like a real seeker, to find these truths. And then I have been studying in the temple, in the in the temple space with the high teachers, to bring you this knowledge. And that's my kind of thing that I want to project. And also, like, for you to come here and see myself as a little bit of a secret weapon for your life, because I want to give you like some real dark secrets, like true secret truth, but also dark secrets, and to weave it all in together, right? Because that's the thing. Life is can be beautiful, but I believe that we can only create a beautiful life when we truly know evil, when we have been burned by other people, by takers, by people who are not willing to give and to share, by vampires, by all of that, right? By spiritual monitoring spirits, by the evil eye, all of that, right? Like, we rebuke that. But those things are real, and only if you know that, and only if you know how to protect yourself from it very fiercely, only then can you create the life of your dreams. the life where you create the freedom and the body and the relationships and the character and the solidity. That is the most important thing, the spiritual calendar, the spiritual character. Just like it says in the Bible, like, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else shall be added unto you. And seeking the kingdom of heaven is a matter of prayer, right? Meditation and prayer, but also study. And that's for me. I'm a Gemini, right? So if you know a little bit about astrology, I'm very mental. My mind is going tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick all the time. So my way was to know, not only to pray and to believe, but really to study spiritual law, to study spiritual scripture, to study books and read and learn from different sources and find universal truth. Also, for me, very important, I'm a multicultural woman. So I know that it's never just one thing that is the truth, right? Grew up with a white woman. Of course, I know that white is not supreme. Grew up with a black dad. I know that black is not supreme nor inferior, right? I've learned through both cultures. And then I grew up in a very multicultural environment. And I've always been about the soul, the heart level, the character beyond the masks. That's another of my innate gifts, connecting with people's spirit. So I've always been able to see past through that. And that's why I had to, for my mind, again, to study all these different spiritual traditions, right? From the Bible to the Quran to the Bhagavad Gita, through like some of the indigenous African spirituality, and also, um, yeah, just a little bit of the like the Nordic here. I'm German, as I said, so I am also connecting to my ancestors from here, right? So all of that, I had to take a bite of everything a little, but continuing to learn and to practice spiritual law. Yeah. So I don't even know how I got there, but everything is a system, right? So marketing and sales. Marketing is about telling stories, it's about evoking feelings and creating a world that other people want to be a part of. That's what it's about, right? And that's also the sales system, right? That's the sales system. If you are clear on what it is that you want to project out into the world, if you're clear about the world you want to create, the people you want to touch, the brand you want to create, like who you are, what is in alignment with your values and your truth, you tell the story, you project the image. That's exactly what I'm doing, right? So we want to be aware of those things. And then also the last thing would be in terms of creating a business around your purpose, around your spiritual purpose, mental, emotional, physical, business, marketing, sales. And then what happens then is when you sell, you deliver, right? So we also want to create a delivery system, right? How do you deliver on what it is that you promise the people? So in my case, again, it is the original method. I have an online community, which is called the Sanctuary. You find the link in the description box down below. And in the Sanctuary, you find all my courses. And the main course that I'm currently promoting is truly the sum of 36 years of the life of an old soul, right? Because I came in with this knowing, but I had to have my experiences probably in order to fortify this innate knowledge, and then to really, really understand that that is who I'm meant to be. And also overcome all of the, as I said, the ancestral patterns and the survival patterns and the fear, the doubt, the worry, like all of the low energies that we have to overcome through embodiment, through purging, through releasing, through time, through doing the work, right? Through journaling and praying and meditating and connecting through our essence. But also personally for me, through life experiences, and also to understanding the system, as I always like to say, because what we need to know is not only like spiritual warfare. I like to break it down into something tangible, something also practical, and something, let's call it worldly, even though I believe it is a crystallization of a oppressive force, if you get what I'm saying. But the corruption of religion through the white man patriarchy, right? The white God that we have been indoctrinated with. No, that's the beginning of all of it, right? The white God corrupting religion, but then, of course, also because I believe it's all one: capitalism, imperialism, and colonialism is same root, right? Capitalism, imperialism, colonialism. And colonialism could partly only work because also like the white men gave those people they suppressed the indigenous people, and then also corrupted them with a false god that is somewhere outside of them in the sky. Even though I believe that God is inside of me, God is inside of you, and everything is God, right? The earth is the holy space, the temple. We are already on heaven. We are in heaven. And we have to understand that this is the magical, the spiritual life, right? So with that being said, spirit, like all of that suppression came from this imperialism, colonialism, enslaving people, not only physically, but mentally. And also, another layer of that is the patriarchy, putting men on a pedestal, right? And then racism, putting the white race or lighter skin race at the top, right? So, this is the system that we need to understand in order to free ourselves from it inside our own system. And freeing ourselves from the system is ancestral work, because not only we have been brought up in this system, our parents have been brought up in the system, right? That's why like this whole lineage of feminine reclamation, feminine spiritual work is all about clearing the bloodline. Because you like, have you heard about the mother wound, right? The mother wound is ultimately like knowing and feeling that your mother has not protected you, or that your mother hasn't been able to initiate you into womanhood. She hasn't been able to instill true self-worth into you, because she herself doesn't really feel valuable, because she herself is indoctrinated by the patriarchy. You understand? Right? All of that is part of the ancestral clearing, part of the shadow clearing, right? So we have to, especially of women of the global majority, right? We have to clear ourselves from all of that, from patriarchy, from racism, and from the suppressive part of capitalism. I am all for money. I am all for making my money, and you should be all about making your money, right? Because money is not capitalism. There is fair trade, right? This is my value. You get something from me, that is your value. It's value for value. And that has always existed. Yeah, that has always existed. As I say, this is the marketplace. And something in me, and I truly believe that this is in my blood, because maybe you've heard about Ghana, and like in Ghana, there's like this big association of market women, and those are very powerful women. Like they influence a lot. And this is how I've always seen myself, right? Like a market woman, because I believe a woman that does trade, that is a truly powerful woman. That's why I studied international business, because I have innately known that everything is about exchange. Everything is about business, right? And again, business is value for value. And all of that is what I'm imparting on you. So that's it. right? So the last thing that I wrote down here is creating a delivery system. You can create as much from your knowledge and your overflow as you want. You can create low ticket, right? You can create ebooks or little courses or whatever it is that you desire to create. And then you can create higher ticket, meaning more expensive investments from 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 to 100,000 euro or dollar experiences, right? And that's also letting people closer and closer to you, as I've just depicted. This is your spirit, your emotional body, your mental body. You have to protect that. I have to protect it, right? And then you create your business. And then you create your marketing, your storytelling, your digital platform, your marketing, your sales, and then your delivery. Delivery is inviting people in, like behind the walls of the facade of what they see on the outside. It's really getting more of you. The frameworks and the real work, the real support system, the tight chronological methodology, also the system, the tight system that supports you to become the person that you desire to be, right? So yeah, that's that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm here for. And one closing phrase probably is going to get longer than I would have announced, right? I'm thinking in real time. But one thing that I heard from another content creator today was that I am here, if you're following this journey, I am here now committing to coming online every day. And this is, and I want to invite you to do the same. If you are a content creator, if you are a healer, a channel, an oracle, a spiritual teacher, a creative, whatever you want to call yourself, right? A a business teacher, a nervous system regulation teacher, whatever it is, whatever modality you have chosen for yourself. If you are that, I invite you to create every day. This is your part of your spiritual practice because it's your spiritual gift. And one thing that I am like framing my mind around is that I know that when I fall off, this is not a small thing. This is when the voice or an old pattern is overtaking you. Again, this is spiritual warfare. If you are not creating, even though you have intended to create, or if you can't speak, or if you feel like you can't speak, because I feel that for a lot of women and a lot of teachers and healers and people that are supposed to bring messages through their voice, if your throat is not working, if there is something off, it's probably like a spiritual attack, if you so will, but it doesn't come from the outside necessarily. It comes from within. It is like your voice is not important enough, or yeah, it doesn't matter if you don't come online today, like nobody cares. Rest, right? These little thoughts, they're so tiny little thoughts that will sabotage you very small, very slightly, and it's always going to sound like it's going to sound reasonable. It's going to sound like, oh, you can take some self-care or distract yourself with some other important work, right? I'm not saying that there is not other important work, but mind that, okay? Because if you have set out to say, I'm a content creator, I'm a healer, I have a message, I commit to this, then commit to it, because this is where the growth happens. This is where you fortify. It's just like working out, right? This is where you fortify whatever it is that you set your intention on strengthening. So I just wanted to say that at the end of the video. I know it has been a little bit all over the place, but for now, this is probably how I'm going to continue to do that. It just comes off my mind. It's a little bit of channeling, it's a little bit of teaching, and it's always, as I said, storytelling with spiritual teaching with business needs to go together. We don't want to waste time, okay? Let me know if that resonates, if you learned something, if you want me to continue to do it like that, or if you feel like you would learn more if I separate the teachings. Let me know. I'm looking forward to your feedback. I really do. I am learning and growing, and my biggest and most profound intention is to be of service and to truly impart my knowledge in a way that is actually beneficial to you. Okay? So, with that being said, you are a force of nature, and I'm looking forward to see you act like this. Until the next time, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and support, share whatever it is that you desire to do. I would be very appreciative of it. All right? Thank you so much. Bye.